Good morning. So, welcome to week 4. I'm going to spend a few minutes just giving you a quick overview on the week and the chapters. Hopefully, these sessions are helping you to kind of set the stage of what you have to do for the week. So we have made a lot of progress. We are entering week 4, which is literally we're halfway through the course. So it's really cool that we're making this kind of progress. And once pretty soon we will be pretty at the end of the training class. So that's really cool. So I'm going to give you a quick overview. This week we're going to talk about project management and change management. And remember that the paper has a 15% of I'm sorry, of 15% of value for your grade. So I'll talk a little bit about the assignment at the end of this session. So we continue to follow the framework SDLC, and we are at the stage of the implementation, and that's where project and change management are really for the most part used. But with that said, I just want to remind everybody that really these two types of tools and processes are put in place from the beginning. So you will have to do a lot of project management starting the planning session and change management from here, right? So don't ignore that part. Although we're talking about it right here, the reality is that you're going to see that the whole way through from the planning process up to the maintenance. So with that said, the reason why it is important is because there is a lot of projects that actually fail. We don't like to say that, but that's reality, that 30% in overall of the projects that are implemented out there normally fail. And some of them are delayed because they are either over budget or because they just didn't achieve what they had to complete. And the quality of the implementation sometimes is not the one that the organization is looking for. So there's a lot of reasons why we really should be focusing on project management and change management. And both of them, the reason why I normally like to talk about these two is because they go together. And you'll see why. So the definitions, not to really be very literal here, but it's a systematic approach. Project management is a systematic approach and a structured approach to really drive the planning and properly drive the execution of the project. And in terms of change management, it's a systematic process that actually supports the implementation of project management more from the perspective on how do you actually apply the new tools, how do you actually use the new tools, how do you deploy knowledge across the organization, how do you deploy communications just so people can change the utilization, can engage in the utilization of the tools, right? So it's basically all of the resources that are affecting the change by transforming the organization from where they are today to the future state. So that's what the difference is. One is much more systematic around the planning and the execution. The other one really focuses on how do we actually apply these tools, the change management of transforming the organization from where they are to where they want to be. So they go together, definitely. So at the end of the day, it's both of them are enabling the implementation of HRIS, and both of them are a strategic aspects that IT and both HR should be working together to ensure that the rest of the steering committees, as well as all the leadership support and all the organization, are engaged in. By using these two things, it's most likely that implementations will be effective. So that's the key message in this particular conversation. So, like I mentioned at the beginning, there is a lot of reasons why systems can fail in terms of the implementation. And a lot of it has to do with the lack of a project management, the lack of effective support from leadership, the lack of of involvement from key stakeholders, and the organization not be ready to use the system, and things like people don't even know how to use the system. We just throw it out there without training properly at the organization, or there is no communication. And so there's a lot of reasons why, and the idea that having a great program management in place is that you can really affect change in a positive way. But you also have to make sure that by program management that of the project is actually set up for success, right? So it's not just a matter of recognizing that if you don't have it, things are going to be a failure, but it's also a matter of recognizing that bringing someone is critical for the organization, to bring someone that actually knows about this particular projects, these particular types of implementation. So we gotta bring, in order for us to make sure that there is success in the program management of these particular projects, we need to make sure that first of all, we are solving the right problem, that we're very clear on what we want this particular leader or person to do. And we need to make sure that people have the right knowledge. Whoever is going to be the leader needs to have the right knowledge to solve the right problem. We also need to have program managers that actually understand the dynamics of an HR system, a project as a project, and the interrelations with other various factors like the enterprise systems, the impact into the finance organization, etc. So we also have to be very conscious that this particular project will require time and money from the organization. So this is just a quick overview. So read the 5 levels of measurement in your book, and you'll get a little bit more familiarized. But there is ways for us to affect in a positive way the outcome from the beginning by selecting the right resource, the right person or people or persons to help us with this particular project. So project management has different types of phases as well. So I won't get into the detail, but it goes from the initiation phase all to up to the close out of the project. And each one of these phases has different types of needs, different types of tasks that should be followed. And but go and learn a little bit more about the book. But this is another area that I like for you, each one of you to read as well, and make sure that you grasp a good part of the details of these phases. Now, it's very different project management as a process, and the things that we have to make sure that we are gathering and managing as a part of that project management. But then there is another aspect of the project management that is related to the technical implementation, the software implementation, if you want to call it that way. And that's where there's a lot of activity going on, and it is very important that you have a good program manager that actually understands the intricacies of migrating data, and that people that are familiar with the requirements of driving software testing, and also the system conversion, which is the movement of the organization into the new system. So there is different ways of doing the conversion, direct conversion, a parallel, a pilot, or by function, etc. So there is a big, I guess, chunk of work that happens just in the particular aspect of the software implementation. So there's a lot of cleanup that needs to happen with the data migration. Whoever is helping to drive this particular software implementation should be able to connect all the dots and actually connect with the right people, just so we can actually ensure that by the time we have done the migration of the data and we have moved into the new system, that we have covered the key aspects of the implementation. Now, on change management, like I mentioned at the beginning, for the most part, what you could argue is that project management focuses on the process, making sure the planning is there, that the execution is there, and also obviously from the technology perspective. But change management really focuses on the people, right? And we're going to make sure that people understand how to apply these processes, that they understand how to use the technology, and that they are well trained. So by having a change management process in place, we can actually ensure that that is happening. We had talked a lot about the organizational requirements, but as a part of the change management process, that's where leaders actually, the program managers or HRIS leader implementation should really make sure that we have all of these aspects to ensure the success of the project, right? That you have steering committee, that you have a team, that you have identified the resources that are available and what resources you don't have, that you're controlling for the enlargement of the project, and that you're doing a great selection of the implementation team. And also that through the change management process and the training process, you have all the necessary documentation and requirements to transition that knowledge into the organization. There's a lot of models out there in terms of change management, so I'm not going to spend time on it because this is part of your assignment. This is a different approaches as well. So one of them is focusing in areas. The other one focuses on a process model, which is really a step-by-step approach. All of them are actually good. It really depends on the organization, how they apply it and what kind of process they have in place. Sometimes, organizations really don't care about the name of the model. They just care about having things done and what works for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if out there's a combination of usage of different types of aspects of the steps of the framework. But the idea is that you get familiarized more than anything with what is critical when you're driving change in the organization. So just review the different chapters to get familiar with these different models. The next steps is that, like I said, there is a combination of change management and project management. So refer to that on the chapter 6 and chapter 9 of the book. I'm also going to post an article that is called Workday Change Management, which actually describes how an organization is driving change and describes some sort of the implementation of how change management is important. And I'm going to send you this presentation as well as the video, and hopefully this will help you to start the week and the assignment. The assignment is due on Thursday, June 14, with a potential grade value of 15%. So I recommend all of you to spend some time in reading these 2 chapters, and then make sure that you continue your active participation online. So, which has been really good, by the way. So no complaints there. You have done a really, really great job, everybody. So that's all I have for the week. And as always, if you need to reach out to me, don't hesitate to text me or call me or email me. And I will be in touch with you. So other than that, have a great week, and we'll talk soon.